It's been about 2 weeks since Apple's new M2 iPad Pro has been in our hands, and honestly, I'm kinda struggling to figure out what's really new about it. Seriously, if you guys gave this thing to me and told me I wasn't allowed to look at the back of it where it now sports the new iPad Pro text, I probably wouldn't notice that it was the new M2 model unless I was specifically looking for it. And that's me, a techie, who's been testing and reviewing iPad Pros since before the 10.5-inch model got 120Hz ProMotion in 2017. Now imagine the average person who isn't educated on all of the differences between the previous M1 and the new M2. They would probably have no idea this is the new one. And that's also probably why the M2 iPad Pro is already on sale on Amazon. Yes, just 2 weeks after launch, right before the holiday season when demand should be at its best, the new iPad Pro is already $50 off, making it probably the first time I've ever seen an iPad Pro get discounted this quickly. So to make sense of that, I'm gonna go through each of the features that Apple showed off when they marketed this M2 iPad Pro in their promotional video. But first, I've gotta mention that it's not all bad news. Don't worry, there are some good things about it that actually impressed me more than I expected, so stick around for that. The first major feature Apple showed off in their video was the new M2 chip with up to 15% faster CPU performance and 35% faster GPU performance. And after testing multiple benchmarks like Geekbench, Speedometer 2.0 web browsing speed, and gaming tests, I can safely say that the math checks out and the M2 is actually that much faster. The only problem I have is how Apple marketed the performance, making it seem like this is something new, with doctors now being able to work with complex 3D models, architecture CAD projects, and photographers being able to edit massive images faster than ever. The truth is that for many of the apps people use, even for photo editing apps and others like they showed off, the M1 iPad Pro already handled those with ease, being perfectly smooth and having no issues, mainly because the apps on the App Store are limited compared to high-performance apps you can find on macOS. So in the real world, the M2 chip isn't really that big of a deal in terms of real-world performance and editing experience. The M1 was already doing a killer job. Then Apple went on to show that you can edit ProRes footage with ease because of the built-in encoders and decoders. But as soon as we got our new M2 iPad Pro in the office, we downloaded iMovie, including the latest update that just came out 2 days before launch day. And to our surprise, there was basically no difference between the M1 and the M2, which means that their own app didn't support the new encoders and decoders, which is one of the main things Apple showed off in their video. And yes, I know that they were using the new DaVinci Resolve app, but that's not launching for a while, so we use the app with the latest update, and it's a no-go. Now moving on, Apple also showed off the advanced cameras on this new iPad Pro, which can, for the first time, record ProRes video, making it a complete movie studio right in your hands. But before I tell you the shady truth I discovered about this new feature, I've got to tell you about our sponsor Exter's Black Friday bundle that's 35% off and includes a convenient key case for organizing keys, a cash clip, and the coolest wallet I've ever seen, the Parliament wallet with this really cool ejection mechanism for your cards. So check it out using the links below. Now getting back to the new ProRes recording mode, when I began testing out this new M2 iPad Pro, I decided to see how much better ProRes looked compared to regular video formats, but I was stumped when I couldn't find the ProRes format toggle in the camera settings. I thought maybe I needed a software update. Nope, it was on the latest software and I still couldn't find it. Well, it turns out that Apple doesn't even allow you to capture ProRes with the stock camera app. They literally force you to download third-party software just to be able to record ProRes. So it turns out that the whole ProRes thing is more marketing than anything else, especially if you consider that the cameras on the new iPad Pro have not changed one bit compared to the previous model, which had cameras from the iPhone 12 generation, which are drastically worse than the new iPhone 14 Pro models. So anyone in their right mind would be shooting ProRes with that iPhone instead. Now, the next big thing that Apple showed off was the fact that this iPad Pro now supports Wi-Fi 6E, which in itself is actually really cool because it future-proofs this iPad, but there are a couple of important caveats. The most important one is that you need a Wi-Fi 6E router to take advantage of the new 6 GHz band, which a lot of people don't have, including myself, because they're still very expensive. But making it even worse, to take advantage of the 6 GHz band, Apple says you need a Wi-Fi 6E router that also has its 2.4 gig and 5 gig bands enabled, and they strongly encourage using a single network name across all of the bands for the best performance. This literally shows that Apple is not confident that the new 6 GHz band will even give you a better experience, so they set it up in a way that it automatically switches away to the older bands if the connection is spotty, which kind of defeats the purpose of Wi-Fi 6E if you're gonna be on the old bands most of the time anyway. But nevertheless, let's move on to the next one. We have the Apple Pencil Hover feature, which is pretty neat, and it'll definitely help people see what they're about to draw, but it honestly seems like a software feature they could have implemented years ago if they really wanted to, but they held off until they needed to add extra random features to sweeten the deal. But back to the rest of the marketing video, they literally just rehashed a bunch of other software features that are also available on previous iPad models, and that's it. So because of all of that, I've got to call this the smallest iPad Pro update of all time, even smaller than the A12Z iPad Pro in 2020. And that's why we've been telling people to just buy the M1 iPad Pro renewed on Amazon for as low as $605 with a 90-day money-back guarantee. But wait, there is some good news that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. There is one area where I was pleasantly surprised by the new iPad Pro, and that was in terms of gaming performance. Because of the huge boost in graphics performance compared to the previous model, the new M2 iPad Pro does quite well for heavy graphics-related tasks. Dame Tech on YouTube tested out the new iPad Pro with the most graphically demanding game available on the iPad, Genshin Impact, and it ran at 90 FPS average, a 16% improvement compared to the M1, which honestly isn't that much, but the impressive part was the peak temps being very low at just 36 degrees Celsius, meaning that the extra graphics overhead allows it to use less power. This basically means that this iPad Pro will be set for the future when even more demanding games and apps get released, and that's basically the one reason you'd want to buy this new M2 iPad Pro. Future-proofing. You've got the faster M2 chip, the Wi-Fi 6E support, and the Bluetooth 5.3 as well, so it's actually a great choice if you skipped out on the last couple of iPad Pro generations and you're finally ready to upgrade, especially since it's on sale for $750 right now on Amazon. And that's just about the only positive thing I have to say about the M2 iPad Pro. So for everybody else, just wait until the next one in 2024 because we're expecting a new dual stacked OLED display, a full redesign with MagSafe wireless charging support, the M3 chip built on 3nm, and probably more. So with that said, if you enjoy this review, click the circle above to subscribe for more videos like this one. Check out one of those two right over there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.